Okay, taking notes. Chapter 6, and we're on 6.1. This is just our day 2 here. We are going to be looking at mapping diagrams and listing the ordered pairs shown in the mapping diagrams, and then taking a look to see if they are a function or not. So let's talk about it. Okay, here's 2 mapping diagrams. This is a mapping diagram, and this is a mapping diagram. So we're going to work with A first. These are inputs, input, output. Reminder that inputs are your X values and outputs are your Y values. So if you're going to list the ordered pairs, you look for the arrows pointing from your input to your output. Okay, so the first ordered pair in this mapping diagram is 1, 3. Next, we have 2, and the arrow goes to 6. So our next ordered pair is 2, 6. 3, 9. And the last one is 4, and the arrow goes to 12. So it's 4, 12. All right, so we listed the ordered pairs shown in this mapping diagram. All right, let's do B. B is a little different. Notice there are less input values than output values. So my input values are 0, 2, 4. Remember, these are my X's. And my output values are 1, 0, -2, and -3. So let's just follow the arrows, and list our ordered pairs. So let's start with our first input. The arrow goes from 0 to the other 0. So we know we have 0. I'm going to write them over here. 0, 0. Next, we have 2. And 2, I see an arrow going up to the 1. So I know I have 2, 1. But I have another arrow coming out of the 2. So it looks like I also have 2, -2. And the last input is 4. Just one arrow coming out of 4 down to the -3. So I have 4, -3. So what I wanted you to notice in B is that sometimes an input might have 2 arrows, or maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or however many coming out of it, which means you would have to list them each time. 2, 1 was one of those, and then 2, -2 was one of those. So we've listed our ordered pairs. Okay, this is important to note. A relation, which what we were looking at in those mapping diagrams, these are relations, okay? It's how 2 sets of inputs and outputs relate to each other. But a relation that pairs each input, that means your X's, with exactly 1 output, the Y's, is a function. I know this is excuse me, kind of complicated to think about in words, but I'm going to show you what that means. What that means is this relation is a function. Every single X value or input has 1 output. 1 has 3, 2 has 6, 3 has 9, 4 has 12. Each input has exactly 1 output. So this is a function. Okay, but what about B? Does each input or X have just 1 output? Just exactly 1? No, because notice the 2 has 2 arrows coming out of it. One of the arrows goes to the 1, and one of the arrows goes to the negative 2. Notice that I have 2 x values here, which means the number 2, this input of 2, has more than one output. Has an output of 1 and has an output of negative 2. So this is not a function. Not a function. It's a relation, but it is not a function because of the 2 repeating x values.